Minister Josephine Teo.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, we do not usually in this House apply a gender lens in our budget debates. But several announcements this year have particular significance to women, which I wish to highlight. It happens that this is our bicentennial year. Many members have noted that. When we look back at history, it is clear that women contributed as much as men to building up modern Singapore. Take Madam Hajah Fatimah, for example. Not many of us would have heard the name, but Madam Hajah was a tradeswoman and philanthropist who came to Singapore in the 1800s. Madam Hajah built houses for the poor and donated money and land to build a mosque for her community. Another example is Madam Hedwig Anwar. Just 8 years after starting her career as a librarian in 1952, Madam Anwar became the first Singaporean to be appointed as the director of the National Library. Her leadership laid solid foundations for the modern library system that Singaporeans still enjoy, and it benefited generations of avid readers. There is also Madam Mary Quintal, one of the first 10 women in Singapore to begin police training in 1949. She excelled in a field which was traditionally dominated by men. Today, our Criminal Investigation Department, CID, is headed by a woman. Then there is Madam Gloria Lim, an expert on fungi, who became the first woman to be named Dean of the Faculty of Science at the University of Singapore, and later on as the first Foundation Director at the National Institute of Education when it was set up in 1991. Our women pioneers set solid foundations for the generations after them, so that we can all advance and progress in society. Over the next few months, the Singapore Bicentennial Office will be working with our community partners to bring these stories and many more to life. Their stories serve to remind us that we too should strive to continue laying strong foundations for our children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, so that when they look back in history, in time to come, they will be able to see how women have continued to progress and played a pivotal role in our country's development. During the COS debate, MOM will outline measures for further support that women can expect in our workforce. But besides these outstanding women and many others who contributed in the workforce or through their involvement in the social sectors, there is one particular group which is not often mentioned, and I would like to talk about them. These are the many housewives and homemakers who toil to care for their families so that husbands can work, comforted in the knowledge that someone is tending to the needs at home, caring for the elderly, parents, and other relatives, and raising the children to be upright citizens. Being a housewife was the default choice for many women long ago. There were few other options until after independence, when girls were given good access to education and women could also advance in the workplace. However, even today, when women have more choices, many dedicate their lives to their families by staying home to personally care for them. Some of our homemakers left the workforce years ago and are now in their 50s and 60s. We don't say it often enough, but their sacrifices did not just make a difference to their families, they also made a difference to our nation building. The bicentennial bonus CPF top-up is a tribute to these women, as Madam Rahayu also noted. It recognizes that they had fewer years to build up their retirement savings. 6 in 10 of the 300,000 citizens who will benefit from the top-ups are women in their 50s and 60s, 6 in 10. This one-off top-up of up to $1,000 to their CPF special or retirement accounts would go some way in supporting them in their old age. This is why I welcome the bicentennial bonus. But it is also worth noting that the government's care and support for older women goes well beyond one-time gestures like top-ups. Today, the life expectancy of women in Singapore is 85 years old. It is a fact that we live longer and will possibly outlive our loved ones. Many schemes introduced by government do in fact benefit women more. For instance, more than 65% of recipients of silver support are women who had low earnings throughout their lives. Similarly, in time to come, more of the benefits of the Pioneer Generation package will be enjoyed by women. For Budget 2019, further measures such as the Merdeka Generation package and CareShield Life incentive will help to ensure that older women are taken care of. Many initiatives like child enhancements and new nursing homes will help older women as we age. Ourselves, our mothers, our sisters, and everyone we as women very often end up having to care for. Many programs in the community too benefit older women, such as health screenings organized by the grassroots volunteers in partnership with other voluntary welfare organizations. We don't usually apply the gender lens when debating our budget, but when we do, it's clear that every budget benefits women in significant ways, and they all add up to a lot of support for women. Mr. Deputy Speaker, with your permission, may I say something in Mandarin? 常言道，妇女撑起半边天。许多目前已迈入50、60岁的年长妇女，在年轻的时候确实帮助她们的丈夫撑起了家庭这个半边天，让丈夫能够毫无牵挂地踏出社会工作，促进新加坡独立后初期的经济和社会发展。这些年长妇女有好多选择提早离开职场，担起了抚养孩子、照顾家中长辈的重要角色。也因为如此，她们牺牲了为自己积累储蓄的机会，退休积蓄相对其他国人也比较少。开埠200周年纪念花红公积金退休存款的一次性填补，明确地肯定了年长妇女为家庭的牺牲对社会的贡献，补助他们退休的需要。大约30万年龄介于50到64岁的国人将获得这次公积金填补，当中有60%是年长妇女。政府在今年的预算案中多管齐下支持年长国人，特别是年长妇女，包括了立国一代配套和保健储蓄户口填补。除了是向年长妇女致敬，也是对他们的承诺，让他们在晚年能够安心。副议长先生，新加坡今年纪念开埠200周年，国人在反思新加坡的发展历程之际， 还应该从中得到启发，未来的路才能走得更远，也能走得更好。我们的祖母、外婆、妈妈、家婆，在建国时期、立国时期，经历了非常艰辛的日子。他们大多没有条件完成学业，就得进入职场，或是挑起照顾家庭的大梁。他们的牺牲和贡献所奠下的基础，成就了新加坡的蓬勃发展，让现今女性享有良好的发展机遇。接下来我们要思考的是，该为子女后代奠定怎样的基础，让他们在日后回顾历史时，也能同样感受到女性在新加坡社会继续有很大、很良好的发展。Mr. Deputy Speaker, I support the budget.